The theme of tonight's talk is psychic skills and miracles. And I want to be clear what types of psychic skills I'm going to be talking about. The first sort is telepathy. And when I say telepathy, I'm referring to the transfer of information between two brains along lines that physics would either have a hard time describing or wouldn't want to touch at all. The classic example, the kind of story that everyone has heard most often about this kind of psychic transmission, telepathic transmission, is when a mother, let's say in the state of Maine, suddenly wakes up in the middle of the night knowing that her daughter in California is having some kind of trouble, and wakes up, places that frantic call, "What's wrong?" and then finds the daughter is on the other end of the phone saying, "My boyfriend just went berserk, I was in a car accident," and so forth. Somehow, across 3,000 miles of sheer physical distance, there can be this transfer of information. It's most common between intimates, people who are closely connected, mothers and daughters, boyfriends, girlfriends, married couples, siblings, and so forth. And the next type that we'll be talking about is remote viewing, which I like to kind of characterize as real-time clairvoyance. Remote viewing, and it's always good to define these things, even though I think everybody already knows what it is when someone in one location can focus or put their attention on another location and actually get real information about what's going on there. There are some types of psychic connections, some types of psychic skills that I won't be talking about, or that my comments here tonight won't apply to. Things like precognition, and I think that there is some validity to precognition, and I'll be mentioning one of the studies where it was validated later on. That involves information from the future to the present. And this is tricky because it opens up what is in theoretical physics referred to as a can of smelly worms. Because getting information from the future to the present breaks down their fundamental assumptions, challenges their fundamental assumptions about the nature of time. And, well, they want us to do as little of that as we can possibly manage. So, we're not going to be talking about tarot card readings, palmistry, tea leaf readings, crystal gazing, or channeling. All of these are in a different class of experience, and one of the things that distinguishes telepathy and remote viewing from other kinds of psychic work is that all you need to do it is a human brain. No tarot cards, no crystal ball, no tea. This isn't what we're covering. And the reason we're not covering it is that the reason that this talk is possible at all has to do with a certain new class of evidence that's come to the laboratory in Canada, where a new technology was used to elicit telepathic and remote viewing in experimental subjects. And here is a picture of the first prototype. This device is known as the octopus because it has eight magnetic coils, or 8 pairs of coils that are arranged around the head. From the top, you can see them a little bit better. These are film canisters, and each film canister has 2 magnetic coils, which are actually adapted solenoids. And there are a couple of signals that have been used in this with this class of technology. One of them is actually called a chirp signal, and I'll be giving you a look at that later on. And the other is one that's actually derived from activity deep in the brain from a structure called the amygdala. And this technology has been used to pioneer a new way of studying psychic perception. What the individual pairs of coils are doing is outputting magnetic fields. And those magnetic fields rise and fall in very short periods of time, like 1 to 3 milliseconds, so that the magnetic fields they're producing actually acquire a distinct shape. It was developed by Dr. Michael Persinger, here on the left, and Stan Koren on the right. And they are both senior researchers at Laurentian University Behavioral Neurosciences program. That's located in Sudbury, Ontario. Dr. Persinger on the left is also my mentor, and we've had a mentor-protege relationship for about, I'd say 13 years at this point. And the first set of experiments that he did with this technology were done with a very well-known remote viewer named Ingo Swann. And the research paper said that he had formerly been employed by an unspecified U.S. government agency. And there is a lot of speculation as to what this might have been. Apparently it was the CIA, but sitting behind the podium, I would like to say that I'm not completely sure. You never know who's going to watch the video, right?